do is summarize my initial thoughts on Death Stranding 2. Because I've now played Death Stranding 2 3 streams. I'm roughly around 9-ish hours into the game, give or take. I'm probably between 9 and 10 hours at this point. And I've passed the intro segment, and we're now into the main meat of the game. And what I would like to do is tell you my thoughts on the game. Okay? So, Death Stranding 2. I've got a lot of questions about this game in the last few days as I've been playing it. In fact, the number one question that I've been asked when I'm streaming this game, someone will jump on stream and say, "Hey, Phil, is it better than the first game?" Like, literally, that's what they ask. Is it better than the first game? First question, okay? So, the only way for me to properly answer that question is to tell you what is different from the first game, okay? So, what's different between Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2? Well, if you've played the first game, you already know the game mechanics. That's actually different because in the first game, when you're trying to learn this game, you're like, really, all I'm doing is I'm doing deliveries and I have to hold the trigger so I don't fall and I have to stack it properly so it doesn't, make me lose my balance. And I have to use ladders to cross deep rivers and I have to use grappling hooks to climb. All those mechanics you already understand if you've played the first game. Therefore, the game is easier to jump into because you already understand it. You're not relearning everything from scratch, right? You're not reinventing the wheel here. You already know what you're doing, you see? So in that regard, you almost feel like, oh, welcome back, welcome home. You've already played this game. Here it is again. And I would say a lot of the initial frustration that you felt in the first game trying to learn those mechanics is gone. That's a good thing, I think, okay? I will also say this. The game jumps into more advanced mechanics more quickly. For example, you get a vehicle way earlier in this game than you did in the original Death Stranding 1. You're getting more advanced weapons way earlier in this game than you did in the first game, okay? The graphics are better, for sure. I'm playing on PS5 Pro at 4K, 60 frames. It's gorgeous. The lighting is gorgeous. The detail of the environments, the character models, it's all absolutely really nice graphics, okay? The voice acting, the mocap, beautiful, as if it were a movie. Like, no exaggeration. You could tell painstaking work was put into this to make the scenes look like you're playing in a movie rather than a video game. It's great, okay? The soundtrack, actually quite good. There's a lot of licensed music in this game, and so far, I enjoy all of it. Even though it means that I lose ad revenue on my videos because they all get claimed on YouTube for having licensed music in them, I actually think I like the music too. It's adding to the story. It's adding to the, you're climbing a peak and all of a sudden at the top of the peak, a big crescendo of people singing hits. You're like, wow, that was pretty artistic the way that they timed that. That's pretty nicely done, okay? The story, it's good. The intro is interesting, but then all of a sudden, once you finish the intro, this big series of events happens that throws everything into disarray, and now you're off to a new plot that logically continues the storyline of the original game, and it's fun, okay? So everything I've discussed is pretty much, the positives and the best things about the game, okay? But now I'm going to be honest with all of you. I've played Death Stranding 2 for 9 hours, and there hasn't been a single moment in the game that I have done anything at all that I didn't do in Death Stranding 1. And I'm 9 hours in. There are absolutely, positively, no new gameplay mechanics in the game. It is exactly the same as the first game with a little bit different pacing, but it's identical. The same walking mechanics, the same stacking, the same grabbing deliveries, the same getting around the BTs, fighting or, stealthing around bandits or whatever, driving the vehicles. It's literally exactly the same game. Now, in the first game, Kojima explained why his gameplay mechanics were so tedious and boring. He said, that's the point. The whole idea of the game is supposed to be that everyone is disconnected because of the Death Stranding, and it's your job doing the most tedious work possible to reconnect it. So therefore, after getting through this arduous task of all these deliveries and linking everything into the chiral network, you actually feel really accomplished because it felt like work. Now, the question is, was it fun to do? For me, Death Stranding 1, the story was outstanding. One of the absolute most original, best plots I'd ever actually experienced in a video game. And I mean that. I'm not trying to glaze or kiss Kojima's butt. I actually think it was actually one of the most well-written plots I'd ever seen. It blew my mind at the end of the game with all the revelations and how it all wrapped up. I was like, wow, this is really good, okay? But I didn't like the gameplay. And I was very honest with you guys back then. I thought the gameplay sucked and it was just boring and a big slog to get through and disappointing that they had designed the game that way. You want to enjoy yourself all the time, not some of the time. And every time that there was a story cutscene or a big payoff after the slog of gameplay, I was like, ooh, let's sit back and chill and relax. Let me pull up my drink and let's enjoy this awesome movie. And then the movie portion would end and we go back to the gameplay and I'd be like, Here we go again. Well, I'm gonna hold the buttons. I gotta fucking walk with these things on my back, right? So the first game was a mixed bag. Okay, Death Stranding 2 is a mixed bag. If you're okay with getting through the slog of the gameplay, all right, the story's good. The graphics are good. The music is excellent. But the problem is, this is a sequel, all right? When you played Death Stranding 1, you paid for a full game experience that was something new and original and interesting and different, and it really was. I mean, I was shocked that he actually decided that's the gameplay he wanted for his game, but if it was trying to prove a point and people toughed through it and saw an awesome story, then I guess mission accomplished, right? But when you get a sequel, and especially when you have a sequel that's a console exclusive that you have to pay $70 plus tax to buy, it's not some game that you could get a discount on PC or whatever. You've got to do something to improve the game from the original. I'm 9 hours in. This game is the original, just a different plot, but it's the same exact game. There was no effort whatsoever put into making the game feel fresh, new, or different. It's almost as if Kojima said, let's see if we can just sell the same game twice and see if anyone will notice, as like a cultural experiment. And I'm shocked because I think some people don't like the game at all because they're saying that. What's the same game? Why did this happen? And others are like, no, it's good. So I guess the question here is, what kind of a gamer are you? Are you someone who played through Death Stranding 1 and you were okay with the slog of the gameplay loop? You knew what it was and you thought that the payoff at the end to get that amazing story was worth it? Did you get Kojima's rationale that the gameplay actually was intentionally boring so that it would relay the message that, oh, here's your reward? It's very, very, what's the word? It feels like you earned this experience, right? It's like, oh, wow, it's the light at the end of the tunnel, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You got there. Even though it was an arduous experience, you got rewarded and it felt very rewarding to get to that point. Did you like that? Or are you more of the opinion that the gameplay should be the fun part? And that if the gameplay is tedious, then they've missed the mark. Because I think that really will determine if you like Death Stranding 2. I'll tell you right now, the gameplay loop is just as boring as the first game. There's nothing different or enjoyable about it. It's the same shit. So if you like that, then go for it. Have at it. Jump into Death Stranding 2 and enjoy another story from the mind of Kojima, probably one of the best writers in gaming. But if you're looking for anything new here, any new mechanics, anything to add to your experience, wow, they improved it, you will get nothing. You will pick up that controller and you will be completely disappointed by what is offered because that's not is what you're being provided with. It's as if Kojima said, I know I'm working on other projects over here and that's where all my creative gameplay efforts are going. I'm just going to sell you the same game again and give you a story again. That's a little different and a little better, maybe. I don't know. Only 9 hours in, but man, it's tough for someone like me because I am a streamer. When I play a game, I'm not just playing a game for me. I'm playing a game for an audience. And if every time I pick up the controller and I start controlling the game, it's boring, the audience disconnects and says, man, this is boring. Why are you doing this? Play something else. And I can't really argue with that because you're right. If I'm on a stream, I should be spending my time finding things to entertain you, whether it's informative, whether it's funny or humorous, whether it's back and forth discussion, and you feel meaning because you're getting an interaction with me, whatever it is. When I'm playing that game and I'm just walking across the country with a package on my back, it's not very fun. It's not very engaging. It's just kind of a time waster. And we did try to actually talk a little bit during it and have some conversations, but ultimately when all of your gameplay elements are just boring, it's not going to bring in any kind of real attention. And the truth is, that's exactly what happened with Death Stranding 1. When I was about a third into Death Stranding 1, already my audience was screaming at me to stop playing the game. Phil, why are you continuing with this game? It's boring. It's tedious. It's a mess. No one likes it on your stream. Stop playing it. And I told everyone, in this case, I'm going to tough it out. I want to see if that carrot that's being dangled in front of me of this great story is going to be worth it. And to be honest, I actually do think it was. Even though that game was long as hell and we spent a lot of time, I would say wasted a lot of time getting through that gameplay, I think that the story was amazing. Again, I'm not really trying to glaze or over-exaggerate. I really liked it. But I can't make the gameplay entertaining for you. I can't. So if you're a streamer or whatever, man, this is a hard decision because it's definitely a huge high-profile release that people are probably going to want to see you try, but good luck getting that insanely boring, repetitive gameplay loop to work for an audience. It's just nothing engaging there. It's hard. So, yeah, overall, I'm not disappointed with the game. I am disappointed that they didn't try to do anything different. It is kind of sad that you're over 9 hours into a game and they're like, why is there nothing new? It's exactly the same. But I guess that's kind of the experiment that Kojima's still rolling with. The social experiment of, will you do it again? I already made you do it once. Will you pay me to do this again, to connect another country, and therefore, do it all over? Is it worth it? Was it enough of a rewarding journey the first time that you would want to take that journey a second time in exchange for another original story? So there you have it. Your choice to make, but for me, after 9 hours, it's not much of a sequel at all. And a sequel, what you should aspire to do is improve, change, and add new elements, not just give you the same game again. Imagine if a fighting game had a sequel that was identical to the one before it, with no new elements to the gameplay mechanics at all. Imagine if there was an RPG that had a direct sequel and it was exactly the same gameplay mechanics again, just with the story advanced a little bit. Huh? People would be upset. Legit people would be upset. Like, what? But it's Kojima. So because it's Hideo Kojima, he can get away with pulling stuff like this under the guise of artistry. And some people will play it, but others are being honest. If you take a look at the reviews for this game, they are mixed. Some people think that it's amazing, and others are like, nah, wow, what happened here? He really just kind of pulled the wool over everyone's eyes and said it was a sequel. It's really not. So maybe that's the best way to really describe it, is it's not Death Stranding 2. It's Death Stranding again. And if you're okay with that, play Death Stranding again, but pay full price for it. There you go. As for me, to be transparent with all of you guys, I don't know if we're going to be continuing with the playthrough or not. Yesterday, people started to severely disconnect from the game and from the stream, saying they were incredibly bored. And yesterday, we didn't hit the support goal. And people were like, yeah, we just, don't play this anymore. And I'm not sure. Like, I think I want to at least give it one more shot later in the week. And if people do show up and engage and support that stream, then we'll keep it in the rotation. But if not, if people are like, nah, we're done, then that might be it. And by the way, I told you this up front, outright. I said to you guys, listen, this game might not work and might not be a full playthrough, because today I'm noticing people want more games that have engagement, more games that have gameplay that's kind of interesting, and or maybe the element of you may fail, challenge, stuff like that. This game is just tedium, and I don't know if people like that or not. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's my thoughts. I hope that makes sense and explains Death Stranding 2 in a nutshell after 9 hours. I mean, let me put it this way. Let's say at hour 12, the game completely changes and adds 14 new gameplay elements and the game blows you away. It's too late. You can't expect your audience is going to play your game over a dozen hours to get to anything good. They want to see the things that are going to interest them within the intro so they know why that game is worth their time investment. People don't have time to waste going through a slog or a slog or, a boring intro. So if that is the case and actually already blows you away, or it blows you away after that, it's too little too late and they fucked it up. So, no, that's what I'm telling you. Someone just says, is the game better or not than the first one? No, it's the same as the first one. It's literally the same game with a different plot. That's it. It's exactly the same is what I'm telling you. It is the same game again. You would get the same impact replaying the first game, gameplay-wise. But if you want a new story, you play this one and you still replay the same gameplay, but now you get a new story. Do you see the difference? You're essentially paying $70 for a story. You're not paying $70 for a game. That's the point I'm making. Okay, more shout-outs here. We've got Darth Fig, who did a $5 super chat, and he says, it's kind of like Spider-Man 2 and Tears of the Kingdom. While both games are better than the first, they were better experiences because it was new and fresh. Well, yes and no. Like, even though I get what you're saying, Spider-Man 2 did feel like it actually advanced the gameplay elements because you had two characters that did play differently. The two Spider-Men actually had different abilities, and when you jump between, it felt like it was two different things going on, not the same character twice. Okay. Tears of the Kingdom, I would say reusing the same map, yes, to that extent, I would say yes. However, it did add the whole crafting and puzzle style element that was not in the previous game, and that's a huge part of Tears of the Kingdom. And the map was dramatically expanded with both the overworld and the cloud dungeons. So even then, even as critical as I was, because I was critical of Tears of the Kingdom, that game is more of a sequel than Death Stranding 2 is, by far. That game is absolutely more of a sequel. It's got more new elements to it. So there you go. Obama Clock did a $2 super chat and says, there are no Jamaicans in Texas. I'm sorry for lying. How dare you lie to me last night? He told me there's a lot of Jamaicans in Texas, all right, while we were streaming. And we were driving around Texas in trucks in. And now you're going to tell me you were deceiving me? That's absolutely unacceptable. You can't deceive the king. The king is actually very hurt. I've actually genuinely now, I'm a little upset. So I hope that you understand. Please be honest with me moving forward. Toby Maru did another €5 super chat and says, isn't I said Dark Souls. Oh no. Isn't Death Stranding 2 gameplay like Truck Sim or Taxi Sim? You do a relaxing job with occasional events and rewards. Oh, I wouldn't say it's relaxing at all. There's nothing relaxing about Death Stranding. When you're walking, you have to be actively paying attention to where you're walking so you don't get stuck, so you don't drop your cargo, so you don't fall in a river. You have to always be holding the triggers. If you're not, you will stumble all over the place. You have to be looking for BTs all the time to make sure that you're not walking into them and then they attack you. Like, I would argue Kojima purposely did everything he could to make it not relaxing. Like, if he made it easier without those requirements, it very well could be a relaxing game. And then maybe it could be people like, oh, it's the ultimate chill experience. I'm just a chill delivery driver, right? But it's actually not. It's actually very, very attention demanding and or micromanagement oriented. And that makes it kind of boring, you know? That you have to be doing this tedious task constantly and you can't just chill. And I'm aware because Katie says, well, you can put in a vehicle, create roads, zip lines, it gets easier. You're right, except even that stuff isn't easy. For example, I have a vehicle. I'm driving it around. That goddamn thing gets stuck all the time. Like, literally, it'll get stuck on the simplest little thing for no reason. You're like, how is it stuck? And you try to lift it because it's supposed to do a wheelie. It gets stuck there. Jump. It gets stuck. It's like, the elements are there, but nothing is meant to make you feel safe. The game doesn't feel safe. Once you start getting to the parts with the BTs and everything, you don't feel safe anymore. And I think that's the point. There's always supposed to be an element of like risk and danger along with the tediousness of the job. It's not supposed to feel like, wow, this is a fun job, because it's not. And I think that's what Kojima was saying about the first game. Sam's job is one of the most dangerous on the planet, and you're supposed to feel like that. It's not rewarding. It's unforgiving, but you're doing God's work. You're relinking humanity. So it's meant to be this arduous, challenging, stressful, annoying, tedious task. But at the end of the day, you saved everyone, and here's your story reward. And again, I think, honestly, I get it. I actually get it artistically. I don't know if it's a good idea for a video game, but I think artistically, I understand his vision and what he's doing. You see? So I respect it, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that it's fun or riveting. It's not. It's really not. It's very, very boring. Dr. Oink did a $2 super chat. Amazon Prime Simulator with some combat. Hugs, kiss. Hugs, kiss. Thank you, Dr. Oink.